For those whom Ducktales is sacred, none other will suffice. It is the haunting siren song that has driven corporate executives mad, its influence responsible for the rise and fall of television empires like this one. Hi, I'm Dan Larson, and this is a cautionary tale. This is the history of Fox Kids. Thank you to Marcom for sponsoring this video. Try Marcom Gather for free today at marcomcentral.com/toygalaxy and use the promo code TOYGALAXY to get 25% off your first year. Stop wasting time searching for files in cluttered, confusing cloud storage. Marcom Gather is a fully featured digital asset management solution that does the hard work for you, helping you organize items visually for a more intuitive experience. Marcom Gather auto-tags assets using artificial intelligence, or AI, the good kind, not the killer robot kind. Upload and organize in a single step, resize and convert files on the fly. Put a time limit on your files with an expiration date so you don't have old files popping up when trying to get the new stuff out there. Sort, search, share, all the things you do now, simpler and faster so every team member can take back their valuable time. Try it free at marcomcentral.com/toygalaxy and use the promo code TOYGALAXY for 25% off your first year. Again, that's marcomcentral.com/toygalaxy, and thank you again to Marcom for sponsoring this video. Fox Kids was a block of animated television programming targeting kids and young teens, airing on Fox-affiliated stations in various forms from 1990 to 2002. It gave birth to shows like Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, X-Men the Animated Series, and Pigsburg Pigs. Fox Kids wasn't the first programming block. You've probably been watching them for years without even realizing it. They've been a necessity of television broadcasting for decades. Grouping shows together that appeal to a specific demographic makes it easier to sell time to advertisers attempting to reach those same viewers. It also helps the network expand their audience when similar shows are presented in a batch, kind of like an old school algorithm, checking your history and suggesting titles that might interest you. If you watched Bobby's World, perhaps you'll stick around for Sea Bear and Jamal. Programming blocks aren't always branded. Every network has daytime and prime time, but branding creates excitement around all the shows, heightens the fear of missing out. It can turn watching a lot of television into an event. Must-see TV, Nick at Night, TGIF, Adult Swim, Marvel Action Universe, The Fantastic World of Hanna-Barbera, Animation Domination, USA Cartoon Express, The Disney Afternoon. Fox Kids started in 1990 as the Fox Children's Network, which was only 5 years after Fox itself was created. In 1985, News Corporation founder Rupert Murdoch was looking to start a new television network to compete with the big three, ABC, CBS, and NBC. Having recently purchased the movie studio 20th Century Fox, the next purchase was 6 independent television stations, one each in New York, Washington, D.C., Los Angeles, Houston, Chicago, and Dallas. In March 1986, Fox officially began broadcasting with a very limited programming schedule, not technically a network yet, but getting close. They were able to reach 22% of the total US television audience through those 6 stations. In 1987, they added Boston and expanded programming into primetime hours. Meanwhile, Walt Disney Animation was beginning their long journey back to dominance after the biggest animated box office bomb in their history, 1985's The Black Cauldron. Disney CEO Michael Eisner was overseeing a makeover of both theatrical and television animation production. Gummy Bears, also released in 1985, was a hit, a standout in quality of writing and quality of animation for Disney, but also for the industry as a whole. Ducktales was being developed by Disney to capitalize on and continue that effort with its release in 1987. Michael Eisner and Fox Television CEO Barry Diller previously worked together at ABC Television and Paramount Pictures, a period of time that saw the creation of TV shows like Happy Days, Laverne and Shirley, Cheers, and Family Ties, as well as films like Saturday Night Fever, Grease, Raiders of the Lost Ark, Beverly Hills Cop, and Footloose. In September of 1987, Disney's Ducktales began airing on Fox stations and many of their affiliates, a mutually beneficial partnership likely born from the working history of the two CEOs, Eisner at Disney, Diller at Fox, an animation studio returning to form, a new television network on the rise, and Ducktales for everyone. But it was a peace that could not last, for the power that comes with Ducktales is too great to resist. It will not be shared. In 1988, Disney purchased their own TV station in Los Angeles. KHJ-TV, a competitor to Fox affiliate KTTV, would now be known as KCAL, and it would be operated by Disney. One of their first moves was to take DuckTales away from Fox's KTTV in order to broadcast it on their own KCAL, the opening salvo in a war that would last for the next 14 years. Fox CEO Barry Diller was crestfallen about the loss of DuckTales, incensed by the breach of contract. His young network at a fragile point in its development with operational hours limited to prime time on weekends, the future suddenly in doubt. He had to move quickly. He had to move decisively. For the fall 1989 programming season, Diller ordered that all Fox stations immediately cease broadcasting DuckTales, and he sternly encouraged all of the affiliates to do the same. Some did, some didn't. Fueled by a love molded into burning hatred, Diller brought all of Fox's powers to bear in developing their own children's programming slate, while Disney began offering DuckTales in a package with their new series, Chip 'n Dale's Rescue Rangers. On September 8, 1990, Fox launched the Fox Children's Network, a collaborative programming effort by Fox and its affiliates, captained by proven industry veteran Margaret Loesch. 30 minutes a day, Monday through Friday, and 3 hours on Saturday mornings, featuring shows like Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, Bobby's World, Tom and Jerry Kids, and Fox's Peter Pan and the Pirates, the best Fox could muster at the time. Just 2 days later, on September 10th, Disney launched the Disney Afternoon. DuckTales would return for its 4th and final season, along with the 3rd and final season of Chip 'n Dale's Rescue Rangers, the 6th and final season of Gummy Bears, and newcomer Tailspin. Disney wasn't messing around. In April of 1991, the US federal government rolled out the Children's Television Act, a new set of guidelines for networks broadcasting content for kids, an attempt to rein in what they perceived as an era of gratuitous exploitation of children's television viewing in service of advertising revenue. Decades of cartoons that they believed posed as entertainment with no redeeming educational or informational value, wholly detrimental to children during a formative period of their social and emotional development, strict new guidelines, but it would be years before any real enforcement would begin. The very next month, in May, Fox entered into an exclusive partnership with Warner Bros. Animation, a deal that would move all of Warner Bros. Animation's existing productions and anything new they developed to Fox's children's television lineup. In September, Fox Children's Network was rebranded Fox Kids Network as it expanded to 90 minutes on weekdays and 4 hours on Saturday. It was powered by shows like Beetlejuice, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventures, Tasmania, and reruns of Muppet Babies. As the movie industry rallied behind superheroes, the Disney Afternoon replaced Gummy Bears with Darkwing Duck. 1992 saw the implementation of the partnership between Fox and Warner Bros. Animation. Programming expanded to 3 hours on weekdays, 4 hours on Saturdays. Some networks ran an hour in the morning and 2 hours in the evening, but all the networks benefited from new Warner Bros. Shows like Batman the Animated Series, Tiny Toon Adventures, and The Plucky Duck Show. Fox wasn't a traditional network, not yet. They were a few large core stations with a lot of affiliates, broadcasting fewer hours during the week than the big three. It was their strength and helped them grow, since they were not held to the same standards as a properly recognized network. And Fox was creative with their promotion, building a sense of community. They had the Fox Kids Clubhouse, which was developed for the specific market by each affiliate. Each region could have its own host, its own format, as well as a fan magazine that offered news, games, and trivia related to Fox shows. They also launched the Fox Kids Radio Countdown, a 2-hour radio show with news and contests, wacky skits, hyping up the brand, the community, and the slate of programming that kids could look forward to today and in the future. Not being a traditional network was also their weakness, since there was no universal schedule. Commercials would promote the individual shows, but it was fully up to the affiliates whether or not to air them and at what time. Audiences were encouraged to check your local listings for times. 1992 was also the year that Fox Kids began its relationship with Saban Entertainment. That year, Margaret Loesch brought in Saban to produce an X-Men animated series, something she had been trying to get to broadcast since 1989's Pride of the X-Men pilot that aired on the Marvel Action Universe but was never picked up for a series. The X-Men were a hit, and Fox continued to work with Saban to develop programs for the block. In 1993, their partnership introduced the world to Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the most successful, most lucrative series on Fox Kids.
Power Rangers! Rita Repulsa has begun an assault on the Earth!
Attack!
What are we gonna do, guys?
We use our special powers as a team. Mastodon!
Pterodactyl!
Triceratops!
Saber-tooth tiger!
Tyrannosaurus!
Power Rangers!
So be here for more incredible adventures every weekday.
Don't miss the all-new Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Starting Monday here on Fox.
Morphin. Totally cool.
In 1994, Fox expanded their market reach by signing a deal with New World Communications to re-affiliate their stations from either ABC, CBS, or NBC to Fox, because Fox had just paid a lot of money to acquire the broadcast rights to the NFL's National Football Conference games for the next 4 years and the 1997 Super Bowl. New affiliates were a good thing for the network overall. However, most of those affiliates already had programming established for the blocks of time that Fox Kids could have aired and chose not to air it. The kids' audience was not as important to them as the adult audience that was already dialed in. Fox still needed to get Fox Kids on the air, and if the Fox affiliate chose not to air it, then the next independent station available would have to do. Fox reached out to non-Fox affiliates to run Fox Kids, which meant that in some regions, Fox Kids was being broadcast on the same network as its direct competitors. Because Fox wasn't the only network that was expanding, the landscape of television entertainment as a whole was shifting with more and more options available through cable. And not for nothing, the other studios were learning from Fox's example. In 1995, two new challengers entered the fray with Warner Brothers and Paramount starting their own networks, the WB and UPN respectively. Warner Brothers wasn't happy about Animaniacs playing backup to the Power Rangers on Fox. Not only did the WB take back Animaniacs, Tiny Toons, and Merry Melodies, but it took back Batman the Animated Series as well. In 1996, the lines between network and television studio blurred as Saban Entertainment, the biggest moneymaker for Fox Kids, merged with Fox Children's Productions to form a new company called Fox Kids Worldwide, with the goal of going public and bringing their brands to markets internationally. In August of that same year, the US federal government finally got tired of networks sidestepping the regulations implemented in the 1990 Children's Television Act. They introduced the Children's Programming Report and Order, which tightened the reporting required by the network and their obligations to inform viewers about the content of the programs they were advertising to kids. You put a little honk noise in there or something, make it funny. But Fox was already looking to territories outside the US and Canada to pad their audience and maintain the value of shows they had already invested in, shows that might be in jeopardy in the US. In 1995, they had begun broadcasting in Australia. In 96, they added the UK, Ireland, and Latin America. In 1997, they pushed into cable after purchasing International Family Entertainment, the owners of the Family Channel. Fox Kids Worldwide was renamed Fox Family Worldwide. It gave Fox the tools to potentially compete in the cable animation market against powerhouses Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network. And just in time, because it also helped avoid the new requirements being implemented by the Children's Television Act. As of September, broadcast networks were required to air educational and informational programming along with their normally scheduled series, at least 3 hours per week between the hours of 7 a.m. and 10 p.m. 1997 also marked the end of the Disney afternoon, a hollow victory for Fox as Disney itself had diversified its distribution. Margaret Loesch left to become president of the Jim Henson Television Group, and Fox Kids lost the weekend ratings lead to ABC's One Saturday Morning. That's a kids' programming block as well. 4 hours of television produced by Disney, anchored by 101 Dalmatians, Doug, The New Adventures of Winnie the Pooh. Ducktales was in syndication, but not on Fox. Fox Kids was in need of a refresh, a reboot, an extreme programming makeover. However, in 1998, Fox as a whole was looking for cash. Their future was in football. Looking to raise cash to pay for more NFL, Fox bought out all of the affiliates' investments in Fox Kids. Fox Kids programming was cut to just 2 hours on weekdays, which included PBS's Magic School Bus to satisfy the government educational programming requirements. Despite their aggressive pushback against the government's standards, Fox and their affiliates were left with no choice. As more viewers moved to cable, affiliates moved to Fox Kids to times where no one was watching so they could program and sell ads to audiences that were anything but kids. In 1999, international pop culture sensation Pokémon arrived in the US on Kids WB, which catapulted them into ratings leadership for broadcast television. Fox attempted to counter with Digimon and Monster Rancher, which no one fell for.
No way. Not this time. Not a chance. It's a fake. Not this time. No. Not this time.
By 2001, Fox was a real network held to all the same network standards as the Big Three. It was officially the Big Four. But the landscape of television had completely shifted from 1985. Thanks to the Children's Television Act, cartoons had mostly moved to cable as stations took back the airtime for other programming. Nickelodeon was killing everyone on Saturdays anyway. In July, Fox Kids Europe and Fox Family Worldwide, which included Saban Entertainment, all of the in-house productions like Power Rangers, nearly everything except collaborations with Marvel, Warner Brothers, or Hasbro were sold to Disney for $5.3 billion. An easy decision since the ratings had dropped precipitously. Fox Kids had become a liability. And good timing because Fox was raising money in an attempt to buy DirecTV, but would ultimately walk away with a controlling interest in HughesNet, the owner of DirecTV, for a total of $6.6 billion in cash and stock. Fox now had their own satellite cable company. Just before the sale to Disney, Fox took one last stab at the Children's Television Act guidelines, airing episodes of shows like Digimon Tamers and Power Rangers Time Force that should have been moderated due to the rules, with subjects and depictions of violence that they wouldn't normally have aired for fear of government retribution. Disney renamed Fox Family Worldwide to ABC Family and introduced a new block of Saturday morning programming called ABC Family Action Block, built from a bunch of shows that had started out on Fox Kids. Shows like Power Rangers, X-Men, Fox's Peter Pan and the Pirates, and Bobby's World. Disney played the long game and won. Ducktales was airing on Toon Disney, a cartoon-focused spin-off of the Disney Channel. Fox Kids was moved to Fox Television Entertainment, where ultimately daytime programming for kids was discontinued. The time was given back to the affiliates. In 2002, Fox essentially placed their broadcast children's programming block up for auction. 4Kids Entertainment bought the prime 4 hours on Saturday morning. Fox Kids remained a Saturday-only programming block through September 1st, 2002, when those hours were officially handed over to 4Kids, who replaced Fox Kids with the 4Kids Fox Box. 2 years later, in 2004, Disney's ABC Family Action Block was retitled Jetix in the US and around the world. The following year, in 2005, 4Kids Fox Box was renamed 4Kids TV. In 2008, Fox Box was canceled, as was Fox Children's programming in its entirety. Until 2014, when Fox came back with Exploration Station, a Steve Rotfeld production, a 3-hour block of programming on Saturday mornings intended for young teens, focusing on science, technology, engineering, and math, all of the programs meeting the federally mandated educational programming guidelines. Do not weep for Fox. Fox is doing fine. The NFL has been far more profitable for them than Fox Kids. It brought them far more legitimacy as a real network. They have made plenty of money and expanded in all directions, for worse and for worser. That said, Fox Kids was a milestone of kids entertainment, introducing series that are, to this day, still cornerstones of pop culture. Power Rangers, now owned by Hasbro, continues to produce multimedia entertainment, toys, clothing, and related merchandise. In 2021, like a week before this video was made, it was announced that X-Men the Animated Series is getting a new series that potentially picks up where the original series left off, but it won't be on Fox. The only place you'll be able to watch is Disney+. Ducktales returned in 2017 with a new series, new cast, new animation aesthetic, and a new multimedia push including action figures, podcasts, games, books, comics. It ran for 69 episodes over 3 seasons, officially ending in 2021, exclusively broadcast on Disney XD and the Disney Channel, surely to return again in the future, a new season for the next generation. Fox Kids' rise to dominance and crash into obscurity reminds us how quickly things can change, how easy it is to lose sight of what's important in life, how hard it can be to understand the value of what you have until it's too late. How one decision can change everything, because life is like a hurricane with race cars, lasers, airplanes. You might solve a mystery or rewrite history, all for the want of DuckTales. I don't know, man. Thanks for watching. Please hit like, hit subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. Thank you very much to those of you who already are. Thank you again to Marcom for sponsoring this video. If you haven't heard, we started streaming on Twitch. Find us at twitch.tv/ToyGalaxy if you're in the position to help the channel grow. If you would like early access to the videos ad-free, please visit our Patreon at patreon.com/ToyGalaxy and let us know in the comments down below if you have a favorite memory about Fox Kids. Maybe it's just watching cartoons in general. Maybe it's a specific series or episode. Maybe it's the hole you fell down when all of these shows came out and you started collecting action figures and turns out you're still falling. And even right now, watching this video is just giving you enough perspective to look around and realize that your natural state has become falling further into Power Rangers, the X-Men, cartoons in general, all of that stuff. ever since. But don't look at me, I can't help you. I was falling long before Fox Kids existed. Help me.